And welcome to the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. And I'm dialing up my good buddy Ferris. Welcome to the show, by the way. If you don't know, Ferris is a fellow that we call here on the show who owns a billiard hall. And it's called the Billiard Zone. And he's kind of a wise old sage, as I like to say. And he gives advice to me and to all of us. And it's, you know, kind of a neat thing to call and hear what Ferris has to say. And
Billiard Zone.
hey, Ferris.
Hey, JAT. Jatman.
That's right. The Jatman, James Arnold Taylor.
That's what I said, brother.
That's right. Ferris, how are you? Hey, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, man, you know, I just hung out with some friends. We had some turkey, little cranberry sauce, you know, all that stuff. Just getting ready for the holidays, man, you know.
Well, absolutely, Ferris. I had a good Thanksgiving as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what'd you do, man? Tell me all about it.
Okay, well, it was just my wife and my daughter and I, and we hung out. I made some food because I do the cooking.
Yeah, man, I know. I listened to the show.
Okay. and we had a good time. We had a very nice time. We had come back from our trip to Nashville and Tennessee and Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah, man, that's all good, man. I like it out there. That's cool.
Yeah, it was lovely.
So what's going on, JAT?
Well, you know, I haven't called you in a while. I have different characters on the show all the time. Hank is here. You know, Hank's in the room here, sitting very patiently, by the way.
Hey, Hank, how you doing, man? Say hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Ferris wheel, Ferris.
No, man, it's not Ferris wheel. We've been listening to Franklin.
Yeah, I listen to the Franklins. Hey, Ferris wheel, it's your Ferris wheel.
Whatever, man.
Okay, so anyways, and Billy's here. Yes, Mr. Ferris. Life moves pretty fast, but you don't stop and look around as well. You can miss it.
Yeah, that's Ferris Bueller, man, but that's still good advice, brother.
Yeah, okay, so you know, everybody's here. We're hanging out. It's the James Arnold Taylor Podcast, Talking to Myself, where I talk to myself, which is all the characters, all of you. But I thought I'd call you, see how it's going at the Billiard Zone, if you're getting ready for the holidays, and if you have any sage advice for us for the holidays. You know, it's a different time of year and everything.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. All right, everybody, all you Jat Fellowship people listening to the show, you just gotta, you know, drink your water and breathe and smile and do all the things JAT tells you to do. But here's the other thing to remember, man. Don't sweat it, all right? Life is going to give you lemons. Sometimes you make lemonade. Life is going to give you all sorts of different things. Sometimes life is going to give you lemonade, and you're going to like it. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But the key is to just keep moving forward with it all, man. Just keep loving life and knowing that the challenges that you get are there to make you stronger. And the ones that are hard to handle, that's why you got friends and people, and that's why you listen to this show and you take in all the information that JAT gives you. And you just remember, man, that you're a gift in life, and life is a gift to all of us. And so you just believe, all right?
Well, that's beautiful, Ferris. Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom. I appreciate it. I got to go down and shoot some pool there. Hank keeps saying he's going to beat me at 8-ball, but I you know, he won't, because I'm a much better pool player than him.
Yeah, man, you play pool?
So here's the deal, Ferris. My wife and I both love playing pool. My wife grew up with a pool table in her house, and so she played pool. And I always loved playing pool. I used to go down to the Billiard Zone, not the Billiard Zone, that's your place, but a billiard hall in Santa Barbara where I grew up. And I'd shoot pool, and it was called Don Q Billiards. And I, in fact, then when I became a DJ, I did all the commercials for Don Q. And I took a George Thorogood song. I don't know if any of my listeners remember George Thorogood. He sang Bad to the Bone.
Yeah, man, I know that song. Yeah, it's cool.
And so I took Bad to the Bone, and it was bad, and I turned it to Don Q Billiards. They got the best pool in town. I made a jingle out of that song and set it to Don Q, and so it became kind of a well-known song in Santa Barbara where I was, the billiard hall there. And because of that, I would get to play pool for free there too, because I did their commercials. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that's all right. You play pool for free if you come down to the Billiard Zone as well, James.
Well, that's awesome, Ferris. Okay, well, I'm going to come down and see you then. And we'll see you here before the, Christmas time and everything. But it's amazing that it's December already, isn't it?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what.
Okay. Well, Ferris, thanks for being here. Thanks for giving us some encouragement. Thanks for always supporting the James Arnold Taylor podcast. I appreciate it. And, Hank, what?
No, I just get, Ferris, come down there, shoot some 8-ball and 9-ball, and you give me some pointers there so I can beat JAT.
All right, Hank. You bring some onion sandwiches.
Yeah, okay, I do onion sandwich.
Okay, boy, that doesn't sound promising at all. All right, thanks, Ferris.
Dude.
Okay, well, we probably should get on with the show. Get Mr. Announcer Guy in here. Oh, Mr. Announcer Guy.
Oh, yes, James.
You ready to intro the show?
It's what I live for.
All right, Jerry the Music Man, cue that music.
You got it, James. Cueing the music for the James Arnold Taylor podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's the James Arnold Taylor podcast. Talking to myself, the JATcast. And now here he is, the same guy that's doing all the voices you're hearing, including this one. Amazing, isn't it?
Well, maybe not.
James Arnold Taylor!
Thanks, Mr. Announcer Guy.
You got it, man.
All right. Are you? I was waiting. I was waiting for you.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm going to go now.
And there he is. See, now I feel better. I can, if it doesn't go in that order, then it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's got to go in that order. They're weird.
You're weird, Hank.
What?
Nothing. Hank, did you have a good Thanksgiving? You and your wife, Maureen?
Yeah, we had a good turkey day, yeah.
Do you have friends? Do you have other engineers? Because you're a sound engineer, an audio engineer. Do you have like a group of engineer buddies that come over?
No.
Okay. What did you do?
We ate, and we had the family and Maureen's family. They come out, and they come in, and they talk my ear off, and I go, yeah.
Okay, well that sounds fun.
Not really.
Okay. How about you, Billy? Did you have a good one with your mom and the family and everything?
Oh, yeah. Yes, Mr. James, sir.
Just James, sir. I mean, not sir. Just James.
Yes, Mr. James, sir.
Okay. You ignore everything I say.
Well, it goes against my nature to say just James.
But you did it just now.
Oh, I did.
Okay. You had a good one? Good Thanksgiving?
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, it was very nice and very good. Everything was really good.
Well, that's awesome. We had a very nice Thanksgiving, quiet Thanksgiving. Usually we have friends over. We didn't have anybody over. It was just my wife and my daughter and I. And we had a good time. And we watched some movies. Showed my daughter some of my favorite movies. One of my favorite movies, comedy. It's called Defending Your Life. And it's very funny. It's not Christian in any way, shape, or form. I'm, of course, very Christian. But it's very funny. And it's, it's more about like past lives and all of that. Albert Brooks, the actor Albert Brooks, one of my favorite comedian, actor, writer, filmmakers, Albert Brooks, made this movie, and Meryl Streep and him are in it. It's very funny. It's from the, I believe, the 90s, late 90s it came out. Maybe early 2000s, I can't remember. And it is just a hysterical movie. It is so funny. Because Albert Brooks' character dies and goes to Judgment City, which is in between heaven and earth, to be judged to see if he's learned enough in this life or does he have to go back to another lifetime. And so again, it's not based on anything Christian. It's just a fun, goofy movie, and it's very funny. And Rip Torn plays his attorney because he has to defend his life. And I met Rip Torn once, and I got to say to him, how I would love him to be my attorney in Judgment City. And he was so fun. He talked about how much he loved making that movie. God bless him. God rest his soul. He just passed away not too long ago, Rip Torn. Very talented actor. Funny name, Rip Torn. That's his name if you don't know him. But anyways, Albert Brooks, Rip Torn, Meryl Streep. Very funny movie, Defending Your Life. We showed that to my daughter. She loved it. We also showed her When Harry Met Sally. She's getting older now, so we can show her some of these things that are a little more mature. And we watched, a bunch of movies. And we started watching Mission Impossible. So I went on Apple and I got the Mission Impossible 6-pack of all the 6 Mission Impossible movies. And we started watching those because it was my wife's birthday the other day. And so for her birthday, that's what we did. We all watched some movies because my wife, on our trip to Nashville, twisted her ankle on the way home. It was terrible the day we were coming home. And so she has kind of a sprained ankle. So we've been trying to stay off her feet and just keep her sitting down a little this week. And so we watched some movies and hung out, just kind of enjoyed the long weekend and all that. So, but now it's all over and back to normal for a couple weeks until we get to Christmas. And then New Year's and all that. It's a nice time of year, isn't it? It's nice. It's colder. My voice is certainly feeling it. You can hear it here on the show. Are you drinking water? I'm going to drink some water. Let's all drink some water here on the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. That's good water. That is good water. Water is one of the keys to life. Deep breathing. Are you deep breathing? Are you smiling? Are you thinking positive things? I believe this is going to be a wonderful day. I believe I can successfully handle all problems that will arise today. I feel good physically, mentally, and emotionally. It is wonderful to be alive. I'm grateful for all that I've had, for all that I now have, and for all that I shall have. Things are not going to fall apart because God is here and He is with me, and He will see me through, and I thank God for every good thing. Those are words from Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, a very talented writer, pastor, theologian, who wrote a book called The Power of Positive Thinking, and that little mantra there, those positive affirmations I just read or said to you by memory are from his book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And I say those daily. I say those daily with my family. My wife and daughter and I sat down at breakfast. I made some breakfast for us earlier today, and we sat down and said that as we went and said our prayers for our food. We do. We pray over our food all the time, even if we're out. You know, a lot of people get uncomfortable doing that. I don't. I try not to. I just, I think, I find more often than not, people look around, they see me praying for my food out at a restaurant. I usually get like a little smile and a nod, like, good for you. Because I'm grateful. I'm grateful for every meal. I lift every meal up that I eat and I ask for God to bless it. Why? Because it's important to me. It's part of my walk. So bless the food that you eat, okay? Another little lesson here at the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. Hey, I thought it'd be fun if we, because I'll be honest, I have to go to an appointment here in the next little bit. And so I don't have as much time today for the podcast, so it may not be as long, but I want to get to your emails. So, hey, Bob, because we didn't do any last time. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. Somebody was telling me about their dog, Bob, right? Who, whenever he hears me say, hey, Bob, Bob, come here, Bob, listen to the JAT podcast. Oh, that is good. That's funny stuff. Yes. Was that Megan? Let's see. Not one. We have a couple Megans that listen to the James Arnold Taylor podcast. I believe it was Megan in the UK that maybe told me that story. Megan, yes. Megan in the UK, in England. She told me about how whenever I call Bob in, Bob, you're patiently waiting here, by the way.
Oh, yes, no, I'm just waiting for you to finish telling your story, but yes, I'm here.
Okay, very good, Bob, thanks. Whenever I call Bob in on the show, hey, Bob, her dog Bob thinks I'm talking to him. So that's pretty great. All right. Anyways, okay, Bob. So, hey, Bob, how are you? Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh, and doobity-dee and dibbity-doo, yes. We all got together and had a good time.
Now, Billy, our intern.
Yes, Mr. James.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Billy is your nephew, right, Bob?
Oh, and doobity-dee and dibbity-doo, yes. Yes, indeed, and so Bob's my uncle.
Yes, he is. There's a little birdie right outside my window. Oh, and check this out. Off on a tangent for a minute, guys. So my wife and I are in the classroom where we teach my daughter. Earlier, just less than an hour ago, we're having a little meeting, a little finance meeting, and we're talking and going over stuff. And my wife goes, "Wait, look out the window!" And there was this huge bird of prey, this beautiful, like chocolate brown colored hawk, sitting on our tree, on the branch on our tree in our backyard. It was fantastic. He was gorgeous. I snapped a picture of him. It's so neat. I love looking at the birds. We have a fountain out back and we watch the birds, and it's good. It's good to see the big bird of prey, but it's also scary because you want to make sure he's not going to get any of the little birdies, but he didn't appear to.
Oh, good. Oh, yes, very good.
So anyway, Bob and Billy, you guys had a great Thanksgiving together, all the family, everybody get together.
Oh, yeah, especially James. Oh, indubitably, yes, it was very good. A lot of good old turkey and cranberry and stuffing and, good food.
Yeah. And just being thankful, right? Isn't that just what it's lovely? Just being together and being thankful. I don't know, no matter what you believe about Thanksgiving, like where it came from or any of that, or if you're someplace else and you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I like the event, the holiday of having an excuse to have family and friends and people over and having a meal with them. I think that's nice. So there you go. So that's why I like Thanksgiving quite a bit. So anyways, Bob, we've got a lot of letters. Let's read that one from Megan in the UK about her dog Bob.
Oh, indubitably, yes. It says, Hi, Jat. I hope this email finds you really well. I contacted you a few weeks ago to tell you about my diabetic alert dog, Obi.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, many of you remember, she named her dog Obi, which just touches my heart. I think it's great. I know I play Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm not actually Obi-Wan. Well, I am, but I'm not. I'm not really him. I'm James. But she named her dog Obi, and he's sweet. You can see him on Instagram if you follow her there, and it's very cool. What does she say, Bob?
It says, well, he's doing really well. We've been invited to talk on a podcast here in the UK all about his training, and I'm also hosting an information evening in my local community in December. It's all very exciting.
Now, see, so Megan has diabetes, and her doggie, Obi, is a diabetic alert dog. Isn't that fantastic? And he's a gorgeous dog. So anyways, so what else?
Okay, yes, it says, I wanted to email you today to tell you a quick funny story that might make you laugh. I have another dog, a 5-year-old Springer Spaniel. We got him shortly after my boyfriend's, who is now my husband, mom had passed away when we were 18.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear about that. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your husband's loss as well.
He was our first dog that we got together, and we got him at a time when things were very hard for us, but he gave us the motivation to get up and out and to help us process our grief.
See, animals are beautiful and amazing that way. That's wonderful.
Yes, it says, he was and still is a real joy in our lives. So now for the funny part. I regularly listen to your podcast on my way to work, and I'm very fortunate that I can bring my dogs to work with me. At this point, I should tell you that my dog's name is Bob. So, as we're listening to your podcast and it gets to the point where Bob reads the emails and you say, hey, Bob, well, my dog Bob thinks you're talking about him or to him.
It's hysterical.
As soon as he hears you, he starts bouncing around the back of my car trying to work out where this mysterious voice is coming from that knows his name. I don't know if you ever met many spaniels, but they're pretty crazy, and he just loses the plot each time.
I love that. I love that expression, loses the plot. That's a very British expression. I love that, Megan. That's great.
Yes, and it says, I love it, though. It makes me laugh so much to see him do that. I hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday season. All the best. And it says, P.S. Me and the Obi dog are attending a Comic-Con in London next summer, and we're cosplaying, dressing up as Obi-Wan and Satine.
I think that is fantastic. Thanks for reading that one, Bob. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. What you doing? Bob? See now. Oh, boy, that's funny. Okay, so what else we got here, Bob?
Oh, yes, this one is from Jordan in Australia.
Yeah, now this one is interesting. I go ahead and read it, Bob.
It says, Dear James, can you give some more insight about your thoughts on your podcast episodes 32, 31, 30, 29, and episode 10 of the 2018 era of your show? Regards, Jordan.
Well, Jordan, I so appreciate your email. I appreciate you asking, but I'm not certain I follow as far as more insight on my thoughts on those podcasts. I'd have to go back and see exactly, is there a particular theme in those particular episodes that you're wanting more information on? Because I don't really, I don't know. I mean, again, I record all these and I try to keep track as much as I can, but I'd have to go back and listen to each one and know exactly which part of the show you're talking about. because you want more insight. So Jordan, if you can send me another email at some point, go to, so Bob, tell everybody how to send an email.
Oh, and you go to jamesarnoldtaylor.com, you click on the JAT Show link up in the top corner, and then you click on the choose a topic and you choose the JATcast podcast if you want it read on the show. And then you put in the country and all of that, and you send an email. And then we get it here.
That's right. So Jordan, if you wouldn't mind sending me another email expanding a little on your thoughts here of exactly what you wanted me to expand my thoughts on from those episodes of the podcast. Was it related to my faith? I'm guessing it had to have been related to my faith in some way or something, because I talk about that probably most consistently. So you're talking about episodes 29, 30, 31, 32, as well as episode 10. So I would have to go back and see if there's something particular. But if not, let me know, Jordan, okay?
Oh, very good. Yes.
Okay, so what else do we got? We got another email?
Oh, yes. We're going to try to get through as many as we can today.
That's right.
So this one's from Scott in the United States. It says, "Hey, James, I love the show.
Thank you, Scott.
I heard about you from my brother back in July, and I love it. I love the voices and the positivity.
I'm so glad.
I also love that you express your faith. I am also a Christian. I listen to your show on podcast almost the minute it comes out while I work."
Well, that's great.
I love the episode a few weeks ago talking about dreams, etc. I've never really had many dreams other than being a baseball announcer, but that's just a dream hobby.
Now, but that's interesting you would say that, Scott. I do know of a lot of folks that do get to, as a hobby, do color commentary at local baseball games and stuff. So I think that's pretty great. If you dreamed of being a baseball announcer, that's a great way to do it. So I think that's awesome.
Anyways, I started thinking how I'd love to travel and create a video, but then my wife said I should write a blog about it. English and writing has always been my worst subject in school. Now I work as an editor's news assistant.
Isn't that funny? So English and writing were your worst subjects in school, but now you're an editor's news assistant, which is all connected.
I've decided to start a website and a blog about travel. I've now blogged about places my wife and I have been to with my family on vacations. I've also blogged about different restaurants I've eaten at locally. I love to share things like that with people. Thanks for the podcast of encouraging us to follow our dreams, even though I never really had any dreams. But I think you have. I think you have, Scott. Writing has never been a passion, but I'm really enjoying writing and sharing places I've been to. I love your podcast. Keep up the great work. P.S. I'm writing this as I'm listening to the November 20th podcast. Tell Andrea to keep blogging. You can do it.
That's right, Andrea. And thank you, Andrea. I got a letter from Andrea as well, thanking me for that, because she just listened to that episode as well, Scott. And if you're keeping up with the podcast, everybody, you know who I'm talking about, because I read Andrea's email a few weeks ago, and she has a blog, and she sent me the link to her blog, and I clicked on it, I read it, and it's great stuff. And I will give that information here in a little bit, because I encourage other people to check hers out.
Yes, and very good. And then Scott says, also, here's a link to my blog site if you ever want to read it. Everything so far is up in different tabs at the top of the site. If you don't want to read it, that's fine too.
Well, no, of course I will read it.
And then he says, sorry, this is a long email. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas, Scott.
It was Scott. Don't ever worry. And all of you, don't ever worry about writing long emails. That's the whole thing. It's great. It's great. And I looked at your, when I first got this email, I looked, and I really like your blog. I think you've done a great job of setting it up. I like it. It looks good. I like the photos you're using. I like all the information you got. Look at this. This place is phenomenal. You're giving ratings of a faux place and sushi, and you've got all sorts of different great information here, Scott. It's Scott Travis. And I don't normally give full names, but Scott has a blog, and so there you go. So, yeah. So let's see. I'm trying to figure out how I would give that information there, Scott. Maybe what I need to do is I need to put out some of these on the James Arnold Taylor Twitter account for the Talking to Myself podcast. There is a Twitter account. If you're a listener to the show and you don't know it and you're on Twitter, you can follow the show on Twitter. And you can ask me questions on Twitter as well. You can send questions to my Twitter account, the JATcast. It's at the JATcast, JATcast, like podcast, but with a JAT. And so maybe I'll put a link to Scott's blog there and Andrea's blog as well, so people can see these blogs that we're talking about, because they're great stuff. They're just fun. And I think it's wonderful, Scott, that even though you didn't really feel like you ever really had any dreams per se, you're kind of creating new ones and following these dream hobbies that you have here. And I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. So there you go. Oh, and doobity-dee and deebity-doo. All right, what else we got here?
This one's from Corey in the United States.
Okay, hey, Corey. What's Corey say?
James, thank you. I just finished listening to Season 2, Episode 6 of the JATcast. I wanted to tell you that I have been greatly encouraged and even choked up a couple times listening to your passionate and encouraging words.
I think that's great, man. I love that.
Personally, I'm someone who deals with Asperger's syndrome a little, and my brother and my mother both have it to a greater degree than I do. My brother listens on occasion, especially Season 2, Episode 1, where you read my email on the JATcast.
Ah, okay. Yes, Corey, that's you.
Thank you so much for that, by the way. We both, however, grew up in a very negative household. Because of that, at times it's really hard to think positively, and often I'm way too hard on myself.
See, that's one of those things, man. We all get a little too hard on ourselves. I think one of the most common things on a moment by moment basis in all of our lives is taking the time to not beat ourselves up. But here's what I'm really encouraged about, Corey, that you see it and you're admitting it. And I feel like there's a lot of folks that are seeing it and admitting it from listening to the show. There's a lot of emails we got to get through into here today, Bob, and many commenting on the last couple of episodes, I should say, of the podcast, where I am saying you matter. I believe in you. Do you believe in yourself? I think that that's really important, but it's great to recognize it. So that's what we're trying to do here. Not just drinking water, breathing deep, smiling, positive affirmations, things like that, but recognizing the places where we're too hard on ourselves and where we're too hard or critical on others as well. Very important, because sometimes they go hand in hand. Sometimes they really do. Okay, so what else does Corey say?
It says, it's obvious from the way you speak that you care greatly for what you do, and just that in itself is encouraging.
Thank you.
Also, I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and whereas we differ a little on biblical beliefs, your podcast today really helped me put it into perspective that as bad as things are, and we agree a lot on the negativity in TV, movies, and social media, I really have so much to be thankful for. I was thinking of all the scriptures that mean the most to me. John 3:16, for God so loved the world so much he gave his only begotten Son, that everyone exercising faith in him might not be destroyed but attain everlasting life.
That's right. That's right. Very good, Corey.
Or Psalm 94:19, when anxieties overwhelmed me, you comforted and soothed me. 1 Peter 5:7, while you throw all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you.
That's true. That's right. Put all your anxiety, cast your anxieties and fears and worries onto the Lord, and he will take them for you.
To that end, it has been a goal of mine ever since I was 5 to be an elder in the Christian congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, so I can help more people struggling with the same things I've struggled with. I know this is a long email, but really boils down to how thankful I am for your inspiring words to reignite the fire in me, to think of myself in a positive light and continue pursuing my goal of being an elder. Thank you for all you do. May Jehovah bless you and your family, and know that I love you like a brother. Corey.
Well, thank you, Corey.
P.S. I took a lot of notes from your diet as well, and I'm glad to say they are working. I pretty much drink warm or hot water now, and my overall health issues have subsided as well. My nutritionist even recommended the same diet plan you did. 1/4 protein, 1/4 carbs, and 1/4 cooked veggies, and 1/4 raw veggies. Also, I know I didn't send this toward the JATcast, but if you wanted to read this there, you have my full permission.
Oh, well, very good. Thank you. We did indeed read it here, Corey. And then, look at that. You got another one of your letters read on the show. Thank you, Corey. Look, it's neat to hear various religious beliefs, various people with various belief systems in general, listening to my show, taking in what I say, me being a Christian and walking in my faith the way I do, and then folks that have their own faith. And it's very good to hear different folks connecting with my show, connecting with their faith, connecting with their diet. And I'm just encouraged by that. So God bless you, Corey. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, what else we got, Bob?
Oh, and doobity-doo, this one's from Bailey in Essex in England.
Bailey. What says Bailey?
Oh, it says, hi, Jat. I hope you and your family are doing well. I wrote to you back in February, and today is my birthday.
Oh, let's see. What day was this? This was November 21st. Happy belated birthday, Bailey. November 21st. I hope it was a great one.
I want to thank you in my birthday celebrations. Back in the summer, I finished my uni degree in film and television production, and I received a 2-1. Coming from not having the knowledge of media beforehand and pushing myself to achieve what I did, I made myself proud and made my mom proud. Since I was a little boy, Mom always wanted the best for me like any parent, but seeing her reaction when I graduated made me proud that I made her happy. That's beautiful. That's wonderful, Bailey. I love that. I want to thank you for all the advice on the podcast and the insight to your life. It's weird to say as we have never met, but I feel that you're a great friend to me. Well, I am a friend to you, Bailey. I'm a friend to all of you folks that listen to this show. I hope one day I'll be able to meet you next time you visit England. I owe you so much. Well, you don't owe me a thing, but that's really sweet of you to say. I also hope one day that I can become a children's writer for telly. I see. I like in London, they say, or the UK, they say telly instead of television. I love that. Yeah, oh, yes. And I'm already one step through the door with the industry by being a day runner. Oh, that's awesome. So you got like a gig on a show. That's great. I've linked below the end of year film I made. It has its problems, but nonetheless, I'm proud of what I've achieved. Especially I had actors drop out at the last minute and I had to rewrite, reschedule, film and edit and graphics in 12 days before the deadline. Yeah, that's what filmmaking can be about sometimes, but you did it. I hope you enjoy the film and enjoy where your voice clip you recorded was used, which I was grateful for. That's right. I remember. So I did a little voiceover for Bailey for this film. Bailey wrote me a very kind letter asking me to do this, and it worked out, and I was able to help with this. And so there's a little clip of me in there as well. So that's very cool. It's also funny that my classmates thought it was my best mate doing the voice and not you. He's good at voice acting as well. He plays the lookalike in the video. Well, that's great. Yeah, that's very cool. After listening to Season 2, Episode 6 today, it's funny how it links to what I just wrote. So I want to ask you, what's the proudest thing your wife and daughter have done, and what's the proudest thing you have done? Sorry for the long email, but again, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, you're my hero. All the best and kind regards, Bailey. Well, Bailey, again, don't worry about nobody. You don't need to apologize for long emails. That's all good. And I watched your video, Bailey, and it's very fun and funny and well done. You did a great job. And it was fun to hear my voice at the end of it. So your question is, what is the proudest thing my wife or daughter or I have done? Gosh, I don't know. I don't know if I can answer for my wife and daughter, but I don't know. It's an interesting question. What am I the proudest of? I'm the proudest of my daughter. I'm the proudest of my wife. I'm blessed beyond belief to be able to share my life with these two wonderful people. And I'm blessed beyond belief to share my life with all of you here on this podcast. I'm blessed beyond belief to do what I do as a voice actor. So I guess, I'm thankful to God for all of the things that I've been able to do. But as far as biggest moments like that, because your letter is about, how you graduated and stuff, and you're feeling the healthy pride of that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think just achieving what I've achieved in life, I've been very, very happy and very blessed to do that. So I guess that would be the answer that I would say, Bailey. But thank you so much for your kind letter and all of the goodness that you've done there. So I thank you for that very much. Oh, and doobity-dee and dibbity-doo. Let's see. Okay. This one's from Devlin in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, Nashville. I was just there.
It says, "Hey, James, I just want to start by thanking you for all the work you've done to help each and every one of your listeners feel they are special and have a purpose."
It is my pleasure. That's my hope.
Your mindfulness exercises always help me after a long day at school and help me from week to week. I always drink water. As a fellow Christian, I love how you express your faith in an inspiring message of inspiration.
Well, thank you.
This was actually the topic I wish to discuss. My church does an annual event throughout the entire month of December to help people remember Christ is the true spirit of Christmas.
Amen to that, Devlin. That's great.
It's called Light the World. It's a list of prompts used to help you serve others each day in small or big ways.
Oh, that's very cool.
Its purpose will help people feel the love of Christ and the joy of the Christmas season. You can sign up to receive daily text prompts, and you can download the calendar as well. I feel our churches may have some differences, but as its center is Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Various denominations have different beliefs, but as you say, as long as the belief system in a Christian faith is all about Jesus, then that's really what matters.
Many prayers and best wishes, Devlin.
Well, thank you, Devlin. So yes, so there's a link here. Again, maybe I'll put it on the JATcast podcast Twitter page. We'll see if we can do that, because otherwise I'm going to need to start coming up with something with folks sending me links to things and stuff, some way to share things as part of our little fellowship here. But I think that's, if nothing else, we all can take away the principle here that Devlin's talking about as making Christ the center of Christmas. And I look, I know, everybody's very politically incorrect now to even say Christmas. We like to just say holidays. But look, here's the way I look at it. If you celebrate something different than Christmas during the holiday season, then God bless you. I hope you have a great time doing that. I celebrate Christmas. That's what I celebrate. Why? Because I'm a Christian and my whole life is about serving Christ, and Christmas is celebrating the day that Jesus was born and came into the world. So, that's why I celebrate Christmas. I love calling it the Christmas season. I love making, Jesus is the reason for the season type stuff. That's all that. So, I think it's important. And that's, so I think it's neat that Devlin shared that link there. And that's really neat. I had looked at the link as well, Devlin. So it's very cool stuff. And we'll see if we can share that here on the show. Whoa, boy, we got a lot of emails still to get through here, Bob.
Oh, yes, indeed. And we got one from Brittany.
Now, Brittany sent me one about asking me about YouTube. Let's see. I mean, I can read this whole thing. It's a very long email. And Brittany's asking me if I know about the COPPA law that is affecting YouTube. And I don't know how many of you are aware of all the stuff that's going on YouTube right now, but there's a lot going on. And essentially, COPPA is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, I believe. And basically, there was a lawsuit against YouTube. YouTube had to pay $170 million in fines because they were breaking these laws, and they did. Now, unfortunately, YouTube has kind of passed the buck on to all of its creators. And so now when you post things on YouTube or you create a channel, you have to say whether or not it is for kids or not for kids. Now, it's one thing to say it's not for kids and to put it up there. But if you're somebody like myself who does family-friendly content, and a lot of my stuff is for everybody. Well, all of my stuff is for everybody. But some people could say that it's for kids. But it's not. I don't sit there with the intent when I make my content on my YouTube channel to be for kids, 12, 13 years of age and under. I really don't. I think of it as just for everybody. But that's what this law is. And if you make anything that is for kids 13 and under, then it's for kids, and you have to check off that it's for kids. And if you do that, you lose the subscription base, you lose the notifications, you lose monetization, you lose every aspect of it. It won't go out anywhere. You can't tag it. Basically nobody will know your video comes out. It's because of this mess up that YouTube did and all this. It's a lot. You can Google COPPA, COPPA. You can, Google COPPA and YouTube and read more about it. Brittany wrote a very long letter, and I thank you for it, Brittany. And I am aware of everything that's going on with it. And it's kind of messing up YouTube. And I'm really not certain what's going to happen with YouTube. I don't know. I'm having to go through and either make a lot of my old videos private so I don't get fined. Because here's the thing, you could be fined up to $42,000 if they decide your video is for kids when you've put that it isn't for kids. But the problem is I have a ton of videos. I have me reading Dr. Seuss books as Christopher Walken and Johnny Test. So is that for kids? No, I made it for everybody. But somebody could say you're reading a Dr. Seuss book, which is for kids, and you're reading it in cartoon voices. See, some of the things they get you. Again, it's a big can of worms. It's a big, big mess. And it's really unclear. There are some middle grounds. There are some things that YouTube didn't really disclose that basically will hopefully keep a lot of us creators safe and from being fined $42,000 or something. But it doesn't mean that they can't have, because again, most YouTube things are monitored by robots. They're not monitored by actual people. So if a robot watches or listens to my channel and decides the content is for kids, they can then flag my videos and make me change them, and they can fine me if they want. So it really puts the creators in this bad place of, what do I do? Do I just mark all my stuff as for kids and then have all of it basically disappear so nobody can find it anymore? And of course, you can't monetize it anymore then either, which, I don't make a lot of money. I only make like maybe $100 to $200 a month off of my YouTube channel. A lot of people make, thousands. A lot of people make their living on it. I wish I made more money from it because I put a lot of really solid content out, but it's because I don't have a huge subscription base. I have almost 50,000, which is not small, but it's not large enough to make a bunch of money from it as an influencer. But nonetheless, if more than half of my 656 videos that are presently on my YouTube channel go away due to COPPA, then that's going to certainly hurt me on that, as well as just as an influencer. It really just does. And it's hurting a ton of people. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that I posted a thing the other week about signing the petition to try to get them to stop this with the FTC, Federal Trade Commission and stuff. And there's just a lot going on with YouTube right now. And I don't know if YouTube's going to last. I hope they do. They're a gazillion dollar a year company. They make a gazillion dollars from all of us creators because they make 40% or more off of all the monetization that we make. So I think it'd be foolish of them to make it all go away by making us all do these stringent laws. They only give you one of two options, either for kids or not for kids. But there is a middle option, but they haven't put it there. And if you do your homework, you'll find out it's because it was a money issue. And YouTube is in it for themselves. They're really not in it for the creators. Is at this point, that's what they're showing me. I'm sorry if I'm wrong on that. And YouTube, if I'm wrong, then please correct me and show me. But right now, it feels as though you're passing the buck on to all of us that create content and making it really difficult for us to continue to make content that is family friendly, a general audience. My stuff is made for a general audience. So Brittany, I thank you for bringing all this to my attention, which I did know about already, because as a creator, I've received all the information in email and such. And I'm doing whatever I can, and I'm trying to spread the word. And I've done it through my Twitter account, and I will continue to. And I'm talking about it here. And for those of you that don't know what the heck I'm talking about or don't care, then I get it. Just know that YouTube is having some issues, and hopefully YouTube will still be YouTube come January 1st, because all of this goes down January 1st, and it could be a big deal. I hope not, but it could be. So anyways, thanks, Bob, for showing me Brittany's email there as well. And thank you, Brittany, very much.
Oh, and doobity-dee and doobity-doo.
All right, Bob, I think we got time for a few more. What do you got?
Oh, this one is from Jonathan in the United States.
Hey, Jonathan.
It says, Dear Jat, I have been a listener of your podcast since you were on Butch Hartman's podcast, Speech Bubble.
Yes. Hey, everybody. If you don't know Butch Hartman, my buddy Butch Hartman, who created Fairly Odd Parents and Tough Puppy and a bunch of shows on Nickelodeon, and he's got his own podcast network and channel, and it's called Speech Bubble. It's fantastic, and I was a guest on there a while back. So thank you, Jonathan.
I really enjoyed how your podcast always felt like a conversation with an old friend, especially the parts where you talked about your faith. I'm a young guy in his early 20s who also is a fellow Christian and a missionary in Japan.
Wow, that's awesome.
Anyway, I was listening to your podcast this last week, episode 6, I believe, in season 2. And when you said you are a good person, I did exactly what you felt someone do. I struggled with believing that I am a good person.
So Jonathan is talking about what I was talking about earlier. A couple episodes back, I believe it's episode 6 of season 2 here at the JATcast, James Arnold Taylor podcast, talking to myself. I said, now I want you all to say you're a good person. And do you believe that? And I paused and I got really emotional because I felt as though a lot of you people would be saying that you're not. And so Jonathan struggled with that. In fact, let me take this one from here, Bob.
Oh, yes, very good.
So Jonathan says, I struggle with believing that I'm a good person. I was adopted, but still had contact with my birth parents. And they used to abuse me and beat me and some other very hard things that were done to Jonathan by his biological parents here. And I'm really sorry to hear that. But they weren't the only ones. Somehow I always seemed to attract people who wanted to abuse someone because I was a young boy. I had several other people, from strangers to babysitters, abuse me. Oh, Jonathan, I'm so sorry. Because of this, I really, really struggle to see value in myself like God does. I am also a manga or Japanese-style comic illustrator and author. That's great. That's very cool, man. I love that. And I was sitting at my computer listening to your podcast, And what you said hit me pretty hard. I've been talking with God about my value and how I don't feel like a good person and how I feel like a broken person, or broken goods, as he put. And so when I heard what you recorded for the podcast, I broke down in tears. I've never been told I was a good person. And while I don't know you personally, I wanted to thank you. I wanted to let you know that what you do impacts lives like mine. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for being God's voice to me in that moment. And it's in him that he signs it. Jonathan. P.S. I have no idea if you read these before choosing ones on the podcast, but if you do, feel free to read mine if you want. I trust your judgment. Jonathan, I did read yours, and I did share even the hard parts of your letter here about the abuse and the sexual assault and such when you were a child, because I believe it's important for everybody to know your story and to know that you are a terrific person. It's our wounds that make us who we are sometimes, and your wounds have certainly helped create the soul that you are, which is a dear soul. You're a dear soul to me, and you're a brother in Christ, but a brother in abuse, because we share some similar abuses and things from childhood. And I just want you to know you are a good person, and God loves you tremendously. Just let that soak in, Jonathan. And what you're doing in Japan, mission work and such, is awesome. It's big work, man. It's big work. It's important work. And you matter, my friend. You matter. Please don't ever let go of that. Okay? There's some great other resources. John Eldridge, Ransomed Heart Ministry. They deal with a lot of these brokenness issues. There's a great app that they make, the Ransomed Heart app for your smartphone, Jonathan. And those have got some great prayers that can help getting past some of these issues that you've dealt with in the past, breaking soul ties with people that have hurt you, or praying protection over yourself, or praying belief in yourself. That's the Ransomed Heart app by John Eldridge and the Ransomed Heart Ministries. Just go to your app store and search for Ransomed Heart, and you'll find those apps. I love them because they've got these wonderful prayers that are just prayers that you can read, and whenever you're feeling as though you need that boost. So I hope that helps you, Jonathan. I hope Jonathan's letter helps many of you that are listening and that are dealing with these same types of issues, or that have dealt with these same types of issues, or have dealt with the issue of not feeling your worth. You matter. If you're listening to the show, you matter. You matter. Even if you aren't listening to the show, you matter, because everybody matters. But I just want you to know that if you're part of the fellowship here, the JAT fellowship, as I call it, you really matter. What you're doing is really important on this planet. It's important stuff. Breathing, living and breathing is important. It is. I'm going to save some of the other emails for next time, because we have more, and not to end things on a low note like that, because I think that Jonathan's letter was actually very uplifting. But I personally, you may notice today I don't know, the energy on the JATcast is maybe a little different than usual, and it's because last night I was driving home from a friend's party. We had a little party, and my cell phone rang, and it was an old friend of mine from high school, and I thought that's strange for him to be dialing me and calling me. Normally we would just text or email or something, and so I thought, okay, something must be up. And I wasn't able to take the call at the time because I was in the middle of a conversation saying goodbye to a bunch of friends and such. And then I got in the car with my wife, and we were driving back to go pick up my daughter, and the message was that, and this is from one of my dear friends from high school, Dave, that one of our good friends from high school had taken her life yesterday, and we found that out. Taken her own life, and she was a dear friend of mine, and you wouldn't have known there was any problems, and I just so I'm a little more melancholy today as I do the show, thinking about my friend. And Jonathan's letter reminds me as well of the pains and the struggles that we can go through in life. And I think so many of us have felt those dark times like my friend did. But it is my prayer and my deepest, 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 deepest wish that everybody that is listening to this would consider how loved they are by others, by God, even if you don't believe in God, and know that that route is never the route to take, that it only brings hurt and pain for others. I understand the anguish of depression and things that lead people to that conclusion, but I can just say, please, please, please continue to listen to this show and get pumped up and be positive when you feel down. Please, please, please seek help from a local church or therapy or, hotlines that they have you can call in, or all sorts of different things. There's always a way out. There's always a way out. And each moment in our lives is fleeting, the good ones and the bad ones. You got to remember that. When you're feeling at your lowest, remember that these feelings and emotions will pass if we allow them to. And we give them up and we move forward and we think about other things that make us happy. And you don't need to feel bad for thinking about things that make you happy when you're feeling down. See, that's one of the hardest things too. It's like getting this information about my friend last night. It's hard to then just go on with your night feeling good, right? Because you feel guilty for feeling good. But we have to move forward in life. We have to feel good because that's how we stay positive and focused on the good. We have to know that the down times will pass, and we don't need to make them pass by doing something that is permanent. So I want to dedicate this episode to my dear friend. I'm not going to share her name for family's privacy's sake, but she was one of my best friends in high school and part of our little group. And my heart breaks for everybody that has ever felt that low. And I just want to use this episode to say, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to James Arnold Taylor. You matter to Obi-Wan Kenobi. So don't forget that. And use that to cheer yourself up, to lighten up, to find new hope in life. There are hopeful things for every single one of us. And it's my prayer right now that everybody that is listening to this show, that is taking in this podcast on a regular basis, would feel the joy and the beauty of life right now where they are. All right? And smile. Yes, there's sadness, but smile. There's beauty and laughter and love. And I would ask all of you to find something really fun and funny right now as you finish this episode, and not feel guilty about it because of you're sad for me or you're sad for my friends, family and such, but to do it in order to lift us all back up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find joy in memories that I have of my friend, and I'm going to find joy in knowing that all of you are here listening and that we're a part of a fellowship that helps build each other up when we're down, because that's what families do. That's what fellowships do. So I would say, put on your favorite song that makes you dance. Watch a video clip that makes you laugh. Watch that dramatic chipmunk. Oh my goodness, that is one of the funniest videos on YouTube. Dun, dun, dun. The chipmunk whips his head around and looks. I love it. Put on something that makes you laugh. Do something that makes you laugh. Do something that brings you joy today. Because it is so, so important to laugh and enjoy this life, because there's only so much that we have. So much time. It goes quick. So take it in. Know you matter. Breathe in deep. Drink some water. And laugh and love with those around you. Tell someone that you love them today. Okay? Let them know that. Because it matters. Oh, it matters. Oh, how it matters. I love all of you for taking the time to listen. I thank all of you for taking the time to listen. And let's bring in Mr. Announcer Guy.
Oh, yes, James.
Do that legal mumbo jumbo that you do so well, my friend.
You got it, man. Talking to Myself, the James Arnold Taylor Podcast is a production of Yumiko Inc., recorded at JAT Studios. Engineered, written, recorded, and produced by, you guessed it, James Arnold Taylor. All voices are parody and should be construed as entertainment only. All music and sound effects used with permissions and licenses through Backtracks, Digital Juice, Production Tracks, and Partners in Rhyme. James Arnold Taylor's Talking Myself, the Podcast, copyright 2019, all rights reserved.
You do that so well, it's almost as if we pre-recorded it.
Shh, don't tell anyone, man.
All right, we're going to have to update that soon for the year 2020. Can you believe that, Mr. Announcer Guy?
I can't believe it, man.
All right, man. Oh, and Bob, by the way, Bob, thank you.
Oh, yeah, and doobity-dee and doobity-doo.
Hey, Bob. I'm making Megan's dog, Bob, go crazy right now. Hey, Bob. All right. See, now that makes me laugh. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. Let's open randomly to day 117 of the James Arnold Taylor book, JAT 365 Daily Inspirations for the Pursuit of Your Dreams. That's how we end the show nowadays. I read a clip, or I read a page, rather, from my book. If you don't know about my book, go to Amazon.com and check out JAT 365. You'll see it. It's a daily devotional. And here's day 117. It says, no mistakes. No matter what anyone says, you are not a mistake, nor are your dreams and goals. Tell yourself today and believe. List your goals and dreams. Look at that. Still making sense with the book and the days and the show. Every time I read it, it always aligns with what we were talking about. You matter. No matter what anybody says, you matter, and your dreams matter, and your goals matter. Write them down. Look at them. Enjoy the rest of the week here. And join me back here next time for the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.